Doctor Who Season by Season. Season 13 Review. Season 13 of Doctor Who takes place smack bang in the middle of the Hinchcliffe era, probably the most popular era of the programme with most classic fans, if not with me, and is the second season to star Tom Baker as the fourth Doctor. Many fans regard Season 13 as one of the greatest seasons of Doctor Who ever made, but do I share this lofty opinion? Well, to be honest, not really, no. That doesn't necessarily mean I hate it and want to kill it with fire, you understand, but it is generally speaking not one that inspires to overly wax lyrical either. The season begins with Terror of the Zygons, which as anyone who has seen the second of my top 30 stories ever videos will already know, I do rate extremely highly. This story of scary as all hell shape-shifting aliens, turned into a complete joke in the new series, as with so many classic series creations, and the Loch Ness Monster in the Scottish Highlands works on all levels, and is a cracking good time from start to finish. It also marks the final appearance of John Levene as Benton and Nicholas Courtney's last appearance for 7 years as the Brigadier, but at least it's a great way to go out on. All in all, Zygons gets the season off to a fantastic start, and if the rest of the season were as good I'd be all over it like it was a hot chickie babe or something. This story also sees the departure of Ian Marter as Harry Sullivan, a great pity as I really like him and he would have improved the rest of the season no end in my opinion. Sadly, things go downhill with the second story of the season, Planet of Evil. This is a lame Forbidden Planet homage whose main claim to fame is an admittedly pretty groovy jungle set, but the script isn't up to much and I find it all a bit of a yawn in truth. Pyramids of Mars is next and is one of the most overrated stories in the history of the program. It is rare to find a top 10 list without it, and this is unfortunately another of those occasions where I, frankly, just don't get it. I don't particularly hate pyramids or anything, but I don't find it particularly inspiring either. In truth, it's a pretty average story, well made and acted, but with nothing to really mark it out as anything special. The almost complete lack of humor, even in comparison to many of the other Gothic horror stories of this period, also make it come across as rather dour, and even as a kid I found the Doctor grandly declaring he was up against the greatest threat he'd ever faced within 2 minutes of the story, and without anything to really suggest that thus far incredibly contrived and artificial and silly. It's not terrible, but it's one of those perennially adored stories I find the popularity of mystifying, particularly when there are much better stories in the same vein that don't get anywhere near as much veneration. Hello, State of Decay. The fourth story of the season delivers arguably its first out-and-out turkey. The android invasion is a ludicrous bore of a story that gets worse and worse with each episode. The first episode or so isn't too bad, though any mystery as to what's going on is rather stupidly nullified by the story's own title, but it careers wildly out of control the longer it goes on. Harry's return is a spectacular waste of the wonderful Ian Marter, and by the last episode it's all so stupid and so boring that by this point I am usually starting to crave sweet death. Things do not improve with the brain of Morbius. I've already trashed this overrated stinking pile of offal in another video, so I won't go over the same ground twice, but fuck, this is desperate stuff with a thoroughly nonsensical plot, ultra cheapo production, but who only got cheap in the Williams era, right, sad bastards. And a completely laughable climax. Horrible, and not in a good way. Fortunately, the climax of the season gets things back in track. The Seeds of Doom, from the same writer, director and musician team that helped make Terror of the Zygons such a delicious season premiere, proves the first was no mere fluke. Doom is a cracking six-parter that never lets up or gets dull for a moment, with another fabulously icy and atmospheric music score from Jeffrey Bergon, fantastic writing and directing, surprisingly impressive effects and a really dark tone, albeit coupled with some fabulous moments of humor. Tony Beckley all but steals the show as mad bastard extraordinaire Harrison Chase, a loony millionaire who wants plants to take over the world. As you do. There's little to fault and loads to love about The Seeds of Doom, and it is another of my all-time favorite stories. All in all, Season 13 is a bit of an oddity. It is by no means the flawless, all-conquering classic season that many fans believe it to be, but nor is it a complete failure either. The middle stories, particularly Android Invasion and Morbius, drag things down considerably, but the excellence of the opening and closing stories drag this to a B-.